Well, hello friends, and welcome to another Tech Talk. Every 2 years, the Ubuntu team releases long-term support versions of their Linux distribution, both server and desktop. Long-term support generally means 5 years. We're going to take a look at the latest LTS desktop release candidate of Jammy Jellyfish today. The actual 22.04 LTS release is scheduled in the next couple of days, and so I've grabbed the release candidate desktop ISO for the video today. I've had to use Ubuntu, both server and desktop, over many years for work purposes, and found it to be a well-supported and reliable distro. I'm really excited to give the latest candidate a spin, so let's boot up a trusty KVM and see what's what. Here's our grub menu. We've got these choices. They're pretty typical for Ubuntu. Let's try the first one. Try or install Ubuntu. It seems like the ticket. There's the famous Ubuntu spinner. I always like that. I'm weird that way. Good. I also like this default wallpaper. Jammy Jellyfish. Very nice. Okay, let's click on Try Ubuntu first before we launch the installer, because I want to fix the screen a little bit. For the install icon's in the bottom right. That's weird. So let me launch settings. Appearance. Dark mode to preserve my retinas. Got 10 highlight colors there, I see. The screen resolution shall be 1920 by 1080, and we'll click Apply and Keep Changes, and close the settings. That puts the install icon in the middle of the screen. Okay, when in Rome. Okay, install. You may wish to read the release notes. Well, let's do that. It should launch Firefox. Yes, it does. Let's close the privacy notice. Ooh, it puts us at the bottom of the page. That's also strange. Okay, so we've got introduction, Jammy Jellyfish. Maintenance updates will be supported for 5 years. We've got a new feature list here. Some toolchain upgrades. Security improvements. Ubuntu Desktop now offers 10 color choices. Firefox is now only provided in Ubuntu as a snap. Some benefits include direct maintenance by Mozilla, more maintainable for the entire LTS lifecycle, switching to a different flavor, sandbox for improved security hardening for this critical app. Okay, so Firefox is front and center. Gnome has been updated and fixed from 41 to 42. Gnome with a hard G, since it's an acronym. RDP is now available. Yeah, it's part of Gnome 42. Very exciting development. Makes things remote desktop access easier. Okay, let's continue. English US seems fine. All right, what apps would you like to install to start with? Normal installation, and also download updates while installing Ubuntu to save time. I'm always for that. Cool. For advanced features, erase disk and use ZFS. It's no longer experimental. Fine by me. Let's test it. Also, let's test the encryption for security. We have an encrypted disk to boot from. Maybe a good idea. So next, it asks for a security key. Asks to confirm it. We'll skip the enable recovery key option here. This is just a demo. Okay, it wants to partition the disk to 4 parts. VFAT for ESP, swap partition, a separate swap, hopefully encrypted. ZFS boot pool partition and a ZFS root pool partition, or B pool and R pool respectively. Looks fine, so let's continue. I choose ZFS because I want snapshots, right? Los Angeles time zone looks good. My name is Steven. I'll name my computer. Clicking here. Your computer's name. I'm clicking. Please respond to my mouse clicks. It's not responding. Is it hung? Is it frozen? No. Okay, there it is. Well, that was weird as well. 3 weird things happening so far with Jammy. So Jammy1 is the name of the computer, and I'll give myself a password. Enter it twice for good measure. We're not using Active Directory today. Very handy if you do need it. It's there. Let's click Continue. And yeah, through the magic of video editing, to avoid you guys getting impatient with me and with this video, I'm going to make sure we skip over a lot of this stuff. Cut out hopefully several minutes of the install process. So it's installing everything and removing the unneeded packages from localizations that I don't have, different languages that I'm not using. And there it is. It's installed, ready to restart. Let's restart now. And let us hit Enter to remove the so-called virtual install medium, as Ubuntu is wont to do. There we go. It's asking for the unlock disk key store root pool. It looks like it's set up successfully. Cool. Okay, so our disk is unlocked. We can continue booting. And there's our GDM. Let me click on my name and enter my password. And the session will be for today Ubuntu on Xorg. We will be investigating Wayland for this demo. So there's our initial setup. Before we go ahead with that, let me change the appearance again to dark mode. There are 10 highlight colors available. I'll stick with orange. Ubuntu Orange, I like that color. Resolution shall be again 1920 by 1080. And we'll click Apply. And we'll keep changes. It looks a little better for my eyes, hopefully for yours as well. Apologies if you prefer the light mode. Okay, connect your online accounts. We will skip that today. Yes, send system info to Canonical. So here's an example first report. I think I want to enable that because I'm seeing some weirdness here. On the left side of the screen, you've got R pool, B pool, and what looks like an encrypted swap partition with mount offering of mounting. I know they're already mounted, and clicking on mount does nothing, so that seems like a bug to me. Maybe one of you guys can enlighten us as to what's really going on there. Let's enable location services. So you're ready to go. So you can use software to install snap apps like these. These are all snap apps, I assume, because they're really pushing their snap store. Ubuntu is. We'll look at that in a bit. Before we go there, let's do some housekeeping. Let me move the home folder icon to the top left. The central location is kind of a weird default. I keep saying weird in this video. I don't know why. A lot of weird things happening. I have no explanations for you guys. Sorry. Just is what it is. Let's do a sudo apt update and an sudo apt upgrade. Works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. Make sure we're up to date. This release candidate has just been released, so I don't think it has any updates yet, and it looks like there are none. Let's do a sudo apt auto remove. Note the date, April 19th is when I record this video. So we're just a couple of days away from the release. So I'm installing NeoFetch because I like doing that as part of my demos. Let's clear the terminal and type NeoFetch. And here we're running kernel 5.15-25 generic, which is a relatively recent, or the latest as of this recording, LTS kernel. Gnome, GNU Network Object Model Environment, it's version 42. We're using the Yaru theme. Holy moly, 2 gigs of RAM usage, and I haven't even done anything yet. Let's see if we can strip that down a little bit by removing the snap store in a bit. That is way too big. Very disappointing, actually. LSBLK shows a whole bunch of snap mount points mounted on loop backs or loop mounts. We've got our 4 VDA main disk partitions, including an encrypted swap. Yes, that's good. Crypto swap. Crypt2swap. Crypto swap? I don't know how you pronounce that, but crypto swap sounds great to me. Let's clear the terminal. Let's take a look at the file system table. And we've got 3 entries here. vfat boot EFI partition, a grub partition, that's not physical, I think, and crypto swap, that's dev mapper type partition, also not directly physical, but there's a physical partition for the Z-swap. Well, not for the C-swap, for the regular swap. Yeah, we're not using Z-swap for some reason. So zpool list-v shows 2 pools, the boot pool and the root pool, or B pool and R pool respectively. And they're all healthy. Let's do a disk usage report here. So the root pool and the boot pool are all shown here. So we have home Steven shows a 1% usage. Yeah, I haven't used it yet. The root amount points shows 13% usage. So 3 gigs and change. Yeah, I'm still showing these strange disk icons on the left side of the screen. Mount does nothing. Yeah, I'm thinking this is a bug. This can't be KVM because I don't see this on any other distro. So another weird aspect. This is a release candidate? Wow. I would hold back if I were Ubuntu before releasing this. Mount, let's grep for root pool. Yeah, I'm showing everything mounted properly, so it seems like a bug to me. Not seeing anything unusual on the in the shell, at least. So let's take care of a snapshot. Let's list our existing snapshots with ZFS list snapshot. No datasets available. Great. So let's create our first snapshot by becoming root, the root shell. And let's issue the command ZFS snapshot rpool /root @ and the name of the snap will be first snap. That'll be our first snapshot. Not to be confused with Ubuntu snaps or snaps store. I keep misspeaking here. ZFS list -t snapshot. T of type, shows our first snap. Cool. And that means it's a good security blanket for me, at least. If I screw something up, I can always ZFS rollback to this snapshot that we just made. So Python 3 has the version 3.10.4. Very well. Let me install the Build Essential package kit here and see what kind of basic development tool sets ship with Jammy. Let's do a quick one here. And there we go. Let us clear the terminal and do a gcc-v, and it shows version 11.2 for the GNU compiler collection. I think Fedora 36 ships 12 already, so a little bit behind the times, but that's okay. We want our development toolkit to be stable and well tested. So I'm okay with that. Doesn't have to be the latest and greatest for that. All right. So the Snap Store loads. So we got the catalog being downloaded, and then it's downloading the application ratings. So there we go. All right, Slack is front and center as the showcased application. We're up to date, not surprisingly. Let's search for Firefox. I don't see the icon. Oh, there it is. That's a strange gear icon. Yes, just to remind you, this is a snap. So yeah, just snaps are available, different versions, including beta and extended service release. No deb packages for this, not from the Snap Store at least. Okay, let's check what version Thunderbird is installed here. Let me type Thunderbird in the search box. And yeah, it shows Thunderbird Mail is installed. Oh, that is a deb file, a deb package, Debian package, Ubuntu package, not a snap. And a snap's not available, strangely. There's that strange word again. Maybe I should call this video strange. The strange demo test of Ubuntu. All right, next is Rhythmbox. As you can see on the left, just below the file manager. Rhythmbox, of course, is installed. That's also a deb, and only a deb available. No snap is available for Rhythmbox. I'm surprised. You'd think with Ubuntu pushing snaps, they'll offer a snap version of all this software. So LibreOffice, let's see if that's available as a snap. So Libreoffice Writer and Draw, Calc, all those packages are installed already. Let me click on Writer. So the deb version is installed, as you can see by the check mark at the bottom, but there's also a snap available for LibreOffice Writer. Okay. Very inconsistent in my view, in my humble opinion. Their choices. I would say if there's a snap available, they should, for sanity's sake, just choose snap and just install snap for all the packages that are there. Why just pick Firefox? It's interesting. I mean, Firefox is not the only security critical app. I think everything should be secure, right? Okay, let's clear the terminal and let's dismantle the snap infrastructure here and see if we can't trim this distro down from the 2 gigs earlier. That's porky as can be. So snap list shows all the snaps installed and only Firefox is the only app. So let's start the purge with sudo snap remove -- purge Firefox. So it disconnects everything from the other snaps. Oh, and there goes our session. Okay, to make sure things are consistent and to err on the side of caution, I'm going to go ahead and, if you guys would please indulge me, I'm going to reboot this machine. I know it's Linux, I know you don't need to reboot all the time, but in this case, we're kind of doing some invasive surgery here to get rid of snap. So let me just allow me to reboot more than once. Okay, so there it is. GDM is still running. That's a good sign. We didn't break anything. We can always roll back from snapshot to the snapshot we took earlier. Okay, there's the jellyfish. Looks nice. Control-Alt-T launches the terminal in Gnome. Let's continue with the purge. So next, I'm going to remove the snap store. If you're wondering in the order in which I remove the snaps, in my testing for this and prep for this video, I've discovered this golden path that works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you as well, should you choose to remove snap like I'm doing here. Let me do a snap list and see what we've got left. So we've got a shorter list now. So next, let me purge Gnome-3-38-2004 or 2004. That's the earlier release, LTS released. There it is. I think I can save myself a whole bunch of typing by just doing copy paste here with a mouse. So next is Gtk Common Themes. And then the golden path calls for removing snapd desktop integration. And then my path includes bear as the purge, next purge. Okay. Then next, let's purge core 20. So far, so good. Let's do a snap list. So we've got the snap daemon itself remaining. So let's leave that. Let's reboot one more time. Thank you for your patience. Let's decrypt the drive. Let's log in via GDM. All right. So far, so good. Let's continue the operation via the terminal. Make it maximum screen with bigger fonts. So next, let's sudo apt update. Let's make sure our package repository databases are uncorrupted, and looks like they are. That's a good sign. Okay, so next step, sudo systemctl disable -- now, if you please, snapd, which is the service, which still can be activated by the socket. So let's disable that now. snapd.socket. That's good. All right, so the daemon should be fully shut down. So now we can remove the software with sudo apt remove -- auto remove snapd. And that should remove snap. There's a legacy directory of /var/snap that will remain, and I'll keep it there, not remove it, so you can reverse the process that I just did if you want to reinstable and re-enable snap. So But to prevent it from automatically re-enabling, let's sudo nano /etc/apps/preferences.d /nosnap.pref and hit enter. And in here, I'd like to type package :snapd, and we'd like to pin it with release a equals asterisk, and the pin priority will be -10. And so that should prevent Snap from reappearing with updates and upgrades. So hopefully it stays gone. So let's do a sudo apt update just to make sure everything is sane. Looks like it is. Everything's up to date. All right, so Snap should be gone for good. Now, removed from the system. So sudo apt install --install -suggests Gnome -software, and that's going to be our substitute software program for installing non-snap versions of programs that we like, we can browse for. We still have the Debian repositories available to us as well. We also want Flatpak option with, let's just type Flatpak remote -add --if -not -exists Flathub, then https://repo/flathub.flatpak repo. And this will enable, after we enter our password for elevated privileges, this will enable Flatpaks to show up in our software, GNOME software program. So let's reboot one more time. Again, I appreciate your patience. Again, I'd like to err on the side of caution. So let's log in. And moving right along, let me go ahead and take a look at what we have here. So this is our application matrix, and pretty much standard Ubuntu stuff. So the store just goes to the software icon. Okay, so software catalog is being downloaded. Let's add that to our favorites. Okay, so it's doing the same thing as before, but hopefully snap-free. We're still up to date. Let me refresh, make sure the store is working again. It looks like it is. So let's click on Explore. Let's search for Firefox. And there's the standard Firefox icon, very recognizable. There's our Flathub Flatpak option. So let's go ahead and install it. Install the Flatpak, the non-snap store version. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and open it. Launch the Flatpak version of Firefox, and that was pretty quick. Flatpaks are pretty quick to launch, even though they're also sandboxed. So I've added to my favorites. I'll put this, move the icon launcher just under Thunderbird. Very good. All right. So we substituted the Snap version of Firefox with the Flathub version of Firefox. It's that simple. Okay, see what we got here. Pretty standard stuff in terms of the applications, including LibreOffice. There's the text editor. Let's see if they've updated to the Gnome 42 version. Doesn't look like it. They have. This is still gedit version 41. So it's not entirely GNOME 42, at least not in the release candidate yet. Maybe after release, they'll take care of that. So yeah, these are pretty standard apps, including Remina for RDP, since this is now RDP compatible. Among other things, for remote desktop. They include transmission as a BitTorrent client. Cool. Let's click on settings here. Let's take another look at settings. So you've got here, got some nice backgrounds available. So these are the new desktop backgrounds for Jammy Jellyfish. Very attractive. Appearance, as I mentioned before, we've got the light-dark duality here with option of 10 different highlight colors. Cool. Under sharing, yeah, remote desktop is already turned on. So you can use, instead of the legacy VNC protocol, you can use Microsoft's RDP protocol, which is a great option to have because we've got a whole bunch of more RDP clients than there are VNC clients out there, in the business world at least, in the Windows world. So you got also a media sharing option, so you can share on the network your music, videos, and pictures with a wired connection. So you can choose which connection you want to share those directories. Displays we've seen already, printers, pretty standard stuff. Uses default applications, date and time. About, as you can see, we're actually running 22.04 LTS, non-beta on a KVM. Yeah, pretty cool. It's a 4 gig virtual machine. Seems to be running okay. Again, you've got those icons on the left side of the screen still persisting. Don't know what's up with that. Really curious as to their justification for having those icons, those disk icons. Can be confusing for new users particularly. Let's sudo apt install gnome-console and gnome-text-editor, and hopefully we get the version 42 of those apps. Looks like we're in 42. Okay. All right. So there we go. Let's clear the console and go back to the app grid. So we've got console here. And yeah. And we've also got text editor. So yeah, there's our dark mode, light mode selector, and it's text editor version 42. Copyright 2022. Okay. That's cool. Oh, okay, so it didn't upgrade. It's still got the old text editor there, and the new text editor. Slightly different icons, same name. Interesting. Let me look at the console here. Yeah, console is version 42 beta still from last year, copyright 2021. Okay, so they haven't updated it to the full 42 yet. I think the full 42 version, non-beta of the console is already available on other platforms. Let's do another Neo. Oh my goodness, even though I removed all of Snap, look at that. 3.3 gigs. I'm using almost all of my RAM here. Holy moly, that is a big effing honking distribution. That is absolutely crazy amount of resource usage. Well, I tried. This is a tough one for me to recommend unless you're a fan of Ubuntu, or at least don't mind slow and heavy. I hope the Ubuntu team adds polish and does it quickly, or I'm just going to have to pass on Jammy for now. What are your thoughts? Please leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification icon so you won't miss a new video. Until next time, take care.